Hello and welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio, episode 108. I'm April Perry, here with my daughter Aaliyah.
Hi everyone.
Today we're talking about how we got a huge project done in 2 days, but our goal isn't to try to brag about a project we got done. The goal is to help you if there's a big project that you're working on. Maybe you're organizing your house. Maybe there's a huge work project. Maybe you're doing something for a church or for some volunteer capacity. But our goal is to share some principles that helped us in working on a big project together and just share some ideas that might give you a lift. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, so just a little backstory on procrastination. I procrastinated pretty much everything for the first 30 years of my life. Now, Leah, I don't know if you were a procrastinator.
I think in my head I was very organized, but I like to do things at the very last second because I felt this big rush of energy from, the night before something's due, just working on it and trying to get it done in time. So I definitely did procrastinate some things growing up.
Okay. Well, I don't even think I clarified. Those of you who are new, Aaliyah's our daughter. So she is 20, turning 21 in a couple days. And she is amazing. She's in college right now, just home right now. And so she's going to be sharing with me. Sorry, I probably should have said that at the beginning.
No, you're good. But yes, even though my mom is definitely like an organization genius, we still had to have that learning curve growing up. It wasn't immediate. We didn't have a system in place right from the very beginning. I think especially in elementary school, I was a lot of times procrastinating things. So I totally get that too.
So when I was procrastinating, projects kind of took forever if they got done at all. And I would often just forward tasks from one day to the next. So I'd write them all down, then I'd forward. And I watched way too much TV growing up and even in some of the early years of our family because it just felt like a safe activity. I didn't have to think about all the things that I wasn't doing. But then when something did finally need to get done, I usually completed it at the last minute or I stayed up super late. And I promised myself I would stop doing that in the future because I hated that feeling of carrying a project on my shoulders and knowing I need to work on it, but then not. But here's the thing. I used to think that that was a problem with me because I thought, well, if I just had more talent and skill and discipline and mental energy or more free time, especially as a mom, more energy, better health, then I'd be able to be successful. So I pretty much blamed my surroundings or myself and thought I'm just not set up to be able to be successful and get projects done. So if you have felt the same way, then I just want to encourage you to understand that it's not you. It wasn't me in that particular situation. It's not you. It's a matter of learning and implementing the principles that will support you in your goals and dreams. So that's why we're going to take you behind the scenes today in a project. Anything else you want to add before we get started?
I think a lot of people probably have New Year's resolutions to get more organized, to complete X amount of projects during the year. And I think that's awesome, but there's oftentimes a little bit of hesitation when you don't know exactly what your next step should be, or you don't know how you're going to actually reasonably complete these projects. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully we can give you a little behind the scenes look about, how we tackle the big project. That was something we were excited about, and we're able to get it done in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah. And some projects need to take a long time, and it's okay if they take a long time. And in fact, we typically don't do projects in 2 days. Usually it's things we kind of measure out. We do next action by next action. I do maybe 7 to 8 projects in a month, maybe a few more, maybe less, depending on, our family and the situation. But today we're just talking about this 2-day sprint because you may be in a situation where you're like, I would love to just knock out this thing in 2 days. All right, I think we've given a good enough introduction.
Yeah, let's get started.
Okay. So I want to share what our project was. We put together a 7-day Organize Your Mind challenge. Now, at LearnDoBecome, we have been building a community for more than 5 years. This is going into our 6th year. We love our community here, and we're consistently looking for new ways to serve because we don't want to just talk about the same thing all the time. We want new ways to help people to make progress. So I'll just share some of the outcome of what we were able to do by getting this project done. And Aaliyah was the key person in making this happen. So then we're going to talk about how it happened and some of the things that really made it simple and feel doable and get done quickly. But what it did, by the time we were done, it brought a ton of energy to our community. We have so many great photos and progress and momentum, super fun. It also gave us a really natural way to share the magic of our Steps to Everyday Productivity program. That's our signature program here at LearnDoBecome. thousands and thousands of people are in it. We love it. And being able to do the 7-day challenge kind of gave people like a little taste. It provided a new resource that we could share in different ways in the future too. So we built the 7-day challenge for the first 7 days of the year, but it's not something that's just one and done. Like from a business perspective, we can use this in the future as a way to bring more people in. We could run ads to the challenge. We could set up an email version. So we're kind of thinking through what we want to do with all the videos and the assets that we've created. But from a business perspective, it was just a really fun thing we built. Also, I think it served the world in a bigger way. I mean, Aaliyah's been in the community. It's been kind of fun seeing how our family has been affected, our neighborhood, community, anything you've kind of noticed that's been fun for you to watch there?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been maybe following along with LearnDoBecome or really invested in it for a long time. Maybe they didn't know how to bring it up to their friends because they didn't want to say, hi, I'm disorganized and I think this has really helped my life. Maybe it can help you. It was an easy way for them to say, hey, there's this awesome 7-day challenge. I'm learning how to organize a drawer on day 1. It's so simple, but I feel so happy now. I want to share this with you. And it became something way more natural and normal instead of just saying, hi, this is kind of awkward. I don't know how to bring this conversation up for you. But it really helped people to share what they already love and what they've been applying to their lives with their friends, their neighbors, and so on.
Yeah, and I think because the steps were so bite-sized, people started noticing, oh, I just did that and it took 5 minutes, or this took 10 minutes. And then they start feeling proud of themselves because they're seeing what a good job they're doing. And then the community's all cheering each other on because someone posts a great picture of their drawer, or a picture of their, email snapshot of their inbox. And everyone's like, go, you're doing awesome.
Yeah, the amount of emojis and GIFs and all like the excited stuff going on in the comments is so fun to see. Everyone's just excited to support each other. So.
Yeah, and every time I open my phone, I mean, Aaliyah and Eric and I have all been like approving the Facebook requests. And this morning I'm like, okay, how many people are in the Facebook group right now? And Aaliyah's like, hang on, let me approve the next 47 or whatever. And then there were, 8.2.
Yeah, like I think it's at this point it was like almost 8,500 people in the group. So, and it's nothing like we're trying to say, oh, look at us, look how many people are in it. But it's really genuinely people are inviting their friends and they're inviting them to see what's helped them get out of the stress in their heads and the disorganization, especially with the new year starting.
Yeah, so it's been super fun on our end. So I think just looking at it after the fact, it was well worth the 2 days effort we put in. Yeah. And it wasn't like full 2 days. It was just
probably
like
5-ish hours each day.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go ahead now and just discuss what happened. And the reason I wanted Aaliyah to be on this podcast with me is because I want you to hear how she implements things and the way that she thinks about it and how she makes it happen. Because the day after you and I recorded, I was talking to my sister Laura on the phone. I was out on a walk with Sunny, and Laura's like, hey, how's it going? And I said, oh my goodness, Aaliyah helped me get this whole video project done, helped me build this 7-day challenge. And I kept saying, do you want to take a break, Aaliyah? Are you doing okay? She's like, nope, keep going, Mom, keep going. I'm like, she got everything ready. She made it happen. It was amazing.
Yeah, and I want to jump in here and say, so I think maybe a couple years ago, I wouldn't have had that same personality mindset, but I did just get back from a volunteer humanitarian church mission for the past 18 months. So from 9 to 9 every day, we were working with people, we were busy, and so there wasn't a whole lot of break time. We're kind of just, all right, let's take it easy for a little while. It was pretty much a solid 18 months. Yeah, focused and like hard work. So I think when I got home, that kind of translated over into this project. So she was like, let's take a break. Let's just go, let's get some water. Let's get a snack. I'm like, no, Mom, let's go. We have 2 more videos. We have to finish them. So maybe I wouldn't have been in the same project mindset a couple years ago.
It's a good point. And, we still believe that breaks are important and taking care of your health is important.
Of course.
But you did bring a drive with you that was amazing. And I just said to my sister, like, Laura, seriously, if you have an Aaliyah who's right next to you, you can make anything happen. So anyway, and not trying to make you feel embarrassed. But okay, so let's just talk about what we did, though, because it's one thing to kind of hear like, oh, April and Aaliyah did a project. Yay. But it's another thing to actually hear what we did that you could do, too, because it wasn't anything fancy that we did. Like, really, we just put our heads together and put our energy into something we thought would be helpful. So, okay, so I just identified 5 principles. Aaliyah and I kind of went over a little outline of what we did that we think can be replicable and that you can feel excited about for your project. And what we're putting together also isn't just for doing like a 7-day challenge for your business. Maybe you don't run a business. Maybe it's like, I just want to get the toy room organized, or I'm going to just get my office totally put together, or whatever it is. Maybe you're going through the STEP program, so you want to build your Command Central. But whatever it is you're doing, I think that these 5 principles can apply. Okay, so principle number 1, we sat down first and discussed the outcome vision, and we made sure that this was the best use of our time. So do you want to talk a little bit about our meeting we had with Grace?
Yeah, we just had a little brainstorm meeting. We all kind of have different things we're focusing on. Of course, my mom was the one talking a lot in the videos. And
I think you made the meeting.
No. So you had to be the one planning what you wanted to say and what you wanted to really focus on. So you were more focused on the content creation and thinking about, okay, I want to make sure I communicate this well to everyone. And then Grace, my sister, she's focused on a lot of the social media side for designing the posts and helping make sure everything looks pretty and nice and all coordinated. And then mine was kind of the behind the scenes, like filming and editing and getting things ready for publication. So we all kind of discussed, okay, what are the things I'm going to be focused on, and what are the different topics we're going to do, and timeline on this. And we just really made it super simple and just broke it down step by step, so everyone knew their responsibilities from the very beginning.
And our team had a team meeting, I think, back in November, where we brainstormed the idea of a 7-day challenge because our community has loved little challenges like this in the past. So I had it kind of on my radar, but Aaliyah just got back from her mission December 15th. And we had this discussion. I think we had our meeting, December 30th?
Probably,
or the 29th?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it was the 29th. We sat down and had a meeting, and we thought, can we get this together by January 1st? Have it like ready and out? And we decided as we talked, we all felt good about it. Like Grace was
we
like,
had some free time. We're all home. Especially with COVID, we're all home. We all have time to work together. So
So we had that discussion, though, because if at any point we thought, oh, this just feels heavy, maybe there's something easier that we could do that would still have a good impact. If it was going to really take a toll on our family, or we were going to have to stay up super late, not get sleep or something, then we probably wouldn't have done it. We would have just said, you know, not. But having that discussion. So we just encourage you, as you're deciding if this 2-day sprint, this project you want to work on, if it's your highest priority, and if you feel like, yeah, this is actually something that's going to serve me and my family or my business or community in multiple ways, and we have the resources, the bandwidth to do it, and we're all like feeling good, great. Okay, go ahead. Okay. So number 2 is we set deadlines. So we set one to go live, which was January 1st, and then one to have all the recordings prepared in advance, which was actually kind of January 1st as well. So we actually went back and looked at the calendar, and so we had our meeting on the 30th, we recorded the 31st, and then edited the first video that night.
Yeah.
And then the next day, you finished all the other editing and we got everything else batched. So do you want to talk about how you were thinking about the deadlines, or what you were doing as you were thinking about the calendar and managing, working towards that?
Yeah, I think a lot of this has to do with next actions or things that are actually due on that calendar date. Because of course I had 7 videos that I had to edit and upload and get prepared. But if I tried to do all 7 at the same time and try to make sure everything's finished at the same time, we wouldn't have made the deadline. And so I think it all comes down to prioritizing and figuring out what's actually the next step, what actually needs to be done next. Because on that first night we filmed, we've edited video 1, and then that was all we could do for that day. But that was what we needed to have done. And then the next day, we finished everything else.
And we'll talk more about batching in a minute, but just being able to have a general idea of how much project work would be done each day and would be required, it helped us not to feel overwhelmed. Because I never felt overwhelmed at any point in this. No. I mean, there was definitely a lot of work that needed to happen, but we didn't feel overwhelmed. So let's say you're working on getting a specific room organized or your office. You might say, okay, this day I'm going to kind of do the desk area and the closet. The next day I'm going to be able to do this side of the room that has all these boxes or whatever it is. But you can kind of divide things up and give yourself little deadlines, because it's kind of fun to know, okay, we completed this part. Because we could have done all of the videos day by day. We didn't have to batch all of them. But I think having that deadline just helped us feel like we could kind of check off each part of the project.
Yeah.
So then number 3, we completed our initial preparations. So before going into our videoing, I was doing the content. So I took little pockets of time from the time we had our meeting until the next morning when we recorded to just open up my planner and just map out what I felt would be good for the 7-day challenges. Now, there's been a lot going on in our home because we've got all 4 of our children here. We're celebrating the holidays. We're still trying to exercise and get outside and make meals, right? Like there's a lot of fun. And we're trying to have fun together. Like,
That too, yeah.
yeah. So there's just a lot going on. So I didn't sit down for a full hour of quiet to plan it. I was literally just like opening my planner, writing an idea here and there, maybe taking 10 minutes at a time. I just knew by tomorrow I need to have this outlined. And so I could even take a picture of my planner pages and like put it with the post and show you. It was so not fancy. It was like scribbles in my planner. I'm going back using different days. But I just took time to get my brain ordered because it wasn't going to work if I sat down to do recordings and had no idea. Like,
and it worked for you. It was still practical. It still all worked out, and there wasn't any stress in trying to plan anything last minute because you you thought about it in advance and gave yourself time to think about that.
Yeah, so that was super fun. Also, Aaliyah cut my hair. I just have to throw this one in because my hair was getting kind of long. I hadn't gotten it cut for a long time. And I think we were in the kitchen and you're like, Mom, your hair's getting kind of stringy, you know?
Yeah, it happens with curly hair. You have to keep it short sometimes.
Yeah. And so I said, well, maybe should I go in the morning and get a haircut before we record the videos? And Aaliyah's like, or I could do it right now. Now, you've been cutting your own hair for a while, right? I mean, you did.
Yeah. I mean, it's never like hairstylist level perfection, but it works. Like it's not, it's a quick trim.
So literally, we just went into my bathroom. She got out a chair, she got her scissors, and she gave me a haircut. So anyway, I had to laugh because it was like, we were so not doing things perfectly. You know, if you think, oh, are you about to put a video series out for thousands and thousands of people, and we've emailed like 150,000 people about this, plus we've been putting it out all over social media. People have been sharing it, so there are tens of thousands of people who are seeing these photos and videos. And you might think like, oh, well, I want to have a makeup person or a hair person or a stylist. I don't know. I'm just saying it doesn't always feel comfortable to move forward on something. And even if you're doing a different project where people aren't going to be looking at you, you often want it to be perfect. You want to say, oh, I want to have everything just right before I get it done. Even like a lot of the video projects you were working on as you were doing social media, things like that in your mission. I don't know. Did you ever feel like that perfectionism, that desire to have everything like
Yeah, I think
perfect?
Sometimes if you're doing a project and you're already committed to it, you think, well, I want this to be the best project I can do because I'm already spending time and I'm already putting a lot of thought into this. And I think this could even apply to, like you were saying, if you're organizing the toy room, for example, but you need like little buckets or baskets to organize the toys, you might be putting the project off because you're waiting to find the perfect baskets that all match and all color coordinated, when in reality, you have 12 baskets around the house that are all different odds and ends, but they work.
Yeah. Well, and someone who did our clean the drawer, that was like one of our challenges in the 7-day challenge, they found a bunch of cardboard boxes from like food boxes that they had, and they
like
cut
cereal
them.
boxes and small things.
Yeah, and they cut them and used those as drawer dividers. And I was so impressed. I'm like, that is so brilliant.
Yeah, they weren't waiting until they could go to the office supply store and buy the perfect dividers for the drawers. It was just, I have this right now. Obviously, I can improve it later if I want to. Yeah. But for right now, let's make it happen. So I think a lot of the piecing it together really helped make it move faster and move forward, because if we'd waited for, the perfect hair day, perfect makeup, everything be perfect, it would have never gotten done. Just because it's never perfect.
So I hope that you can use that in your own project as well. Just think, how can I just get it done without being stressed out about perfectionism? Okay. All right. Principle number 4. So then we batched the parts of the project that required the most energy. And while we didn't have to, and we were willing to stop if necessary, we decided we were going to batch. Now, let's just talk about the video day for a little bit, and then we'll talk about your editing and how we did that.
Yeah.
So the fun video recording day, this is where it took some creativity, because just to give you an idea for the setting, everybody was home that day. So we have a house full of 6 people, plus the dog, and comings and goings, and there were a couple times in the middle of the videos we had to stop.
Someone would run in the front door trying to play with their friend. The dog would run through with her collar jingling.
Or someone's coughing. Or
someone's door is open and they're just like, the books are falling off shelves. I was actually not super
we were a little annoyed sometimes. I mean, it was fine, but we had to stop a few times and be like, hey, family, we're recording, that type of thing. Also, because it was a 7-day challenge, I didn't want to be like wearing the same thing for every video.
Yep.
And so we decided we were going to change hairstyles and clothes for every video.
Yeah. So she went through our closets and found some shirts.
Because I have no clothes. So Aaliyah comes upstairs with like a sweater of Grace's or some of your, So Aaliyah's like bringing me sweaters. So she cut my hair. She was my stylist. Helped me find and I wasn't wearing anything fancy, but just like different colored shirts or sweaters. And then like one time I put the sweater on, she's like, no, Mom, like go change. So she was super helpful to me. And then anyway, it was just kind of funny. This is such like a little tiny detail, but I thought, well, maybe I'll have like my hair kind of curly and then like curled the curling iron and then a ponytail. And so I did the videos kind of out of order. So it looked like.
So we can play a game where anyone who can guess the real order that we filmed videos in, you win.
So we did a different setup for everyone. So this is where Aaliyah was super helpful, because what were you kind of looking for as far as like backgrounds? And
I think a lot of times, obviously in our house, there's a couple spots that are designated video spots and designated just nice professional looking areas, but we realized that was kind of repetitive a little bit, and we didn't want to have everything in one spot, and so we were just running around the house trying to find different spots. At one point we're like, the front porch, that's going to be a great place, and we tried for probably 5-7 minutes to try to make the front porch.
25 degrees out
there. It was so cold, and we're like trying to find out how to like place the pillows nicely and how to make the camera not reflect off the windows, and it did not work. And so we ended up using like my brother's desk in his bedroom.
And we moved all his stuff over to one side so it was out of the shot.
We should have done some like real life scenes.
I know.
Pictures.
I think Dad got a couple pictures.
Yeah, it was just funny because obviously it's kind of like in all the commercials where like, the hamburger looks beautiful, but in the back it has so many random things going on to make it propped up. That's a little bit what happened, because obviously we're not trying to like fake anyone out and think that we have a perfectly ready recording studio house. Of course not.
Right. But everyone's we moved around all over. I know at one point we put a plant in front of my closet door. I'm like, who puts a plant in front of a closet? Aaliyah's like, Mom, it looks way better there. Anyway, it was just fun.
So just little things where it's like you can laugh at yourself in the process, because of course we're not trying to make it this perfect recording studio and this perfect everything. Like we realized that we're all just trying to figure this out together, and the most important thing was the message coming through about, hey, here's a tip for you and what you can do. It wasn't, hey, look at my background, it's awesome, or look at my new shirt I just threw on. That wasn't the part. That wasn't anything at all to focus on.
But we wanted it to look nice and let the people know that we cared about what we were putting together. So we got all of that batched, which did take a lot of energy, creativity. I think I was like eating grapes in between each set because I wanted to feel energetic and fresh, for each one. But that was a lot of fun. Then aside from batching the actual video recording, now Aaliyah was batching the video editing, and then I was batching the copywriting, putting the words that are going to go with the videos, the links, and things like that. So you want to talk about your experience doing all the editing at one point?
Yeah, so I got a new phone after being away for a little while. I bought a new phone, and I wasn't super familiar with the new settings on the phone. And what happened is the video was recording in this high-quality setting that the computer actually couldn't handle. And it was kind of a stressful moment at first for me, because I thought, oh no, did I just ruin
videos were all the videos? Faded, or it looked weird.
The videos would change colors on the computer because the different quality levels weren't matching up. And it took a little while to figure out how to fix some of these settings and how to...
You went and Googled it.
I had to Google it. I had to try a lot of just random putting it through different apps to try to send it to the computer. And it definitely didn't go without any hiccups. There were some times where I thought this video is not going to make it. And even one of the videos didn't quite turn out how I wanted it. And that's okay. But right. I think it's realizing that even when there are these little hiccups or bumps in the road, that it's not the end of the world with the project. Yeah. Because even when I was thinking, okay, this video needs to be scrapped, we have to do it again, you said, well, the audio's fine and it's going to be okay. Like, it's okay. We don't have to make it, make sure everything looks perfect, but it's okay. We tried our best, and that's what matters. So I think giving yourself the grace to say, you know what, it's okay. Maybe it didn't look exactly how I wanted it to, or it's not exactly perfect, but it works.
Well, I think those are two really good points. I mean, one was recognizing that a lot of times things take longer than you think they will. Mm-hmm. And then giving yourself that grace. And what's so fun is in our community, when I saw the video go up and saw that it turned out way lighter than we thought it was going to. And I kind of made a comment, and they're like, oh, sorry, we'll try to, get this fixed. And our community was like, oh,
don't worry about it.
Fine. Yeah. And, which I really appreciate. That's what I love about our LearnDoBecome community, is it helps take the pressure off us, because I think by us showing how we're taking the pressure off ourselves, it actually gives other people permission to take the pressure off themselves, because you don't want to feel so stressed out that everything that you do is going to be scrutinized and someone's out there grading you all the time. I mean, yes, you want to do good quality work and you want to serve, but being able to have that balance of grace, I think that's game changer right there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what I did too is I just sat down and I typed out like a little email, and I wrote out the copy of what I would want said on an Instagram post and what we would put into the Facebook group. So I got all of it written out with the links, because in the videos we teach a principle, but then we give some additional links like, oh, here's a great podcast you can listen to, or here's a post we have on our website, or something like that. So I batched that, and then Grace, we asked her if she wanted to be on the podcast, and she's like, oh, Leah can just say my part. But Grace put together the social media images. You want to explain how she did that?
Yeah, and she was able to take some of the best pictures we were able to take from the day, and maybe some quotes or different pieces that stood out to her and that would stand out to the community. And she designed some really cute social media posts to make sure it was eye-catching and just like helping people find their way to these videos. And so it was really awesome to see how all of us were able to come together for this project, because it was the first time I think I worked alongside her for that. And we were able to just bounce back and forth like ideas off of each other. It was really good.
Yeah. And while we were doing the video recording, Aaliyah was also taking photos, because she knew, hey, we're doing social media to go with it. So we were kind of beginning with the end in mind. But that made it super easy, because then you just sent all the pictures over to Grace. She had things to work with. She's opening up Canva on her phone, getting it all ready. It was really fun. Which, and I have to just add, I love getting to work with our family members, and having our 2 daughters home right now and having them be interested in working on this project was so fun. Like, I loved it, because we get family time, but we're also working on something together, and it was awesome. Okay, and then principle number 5, we just prioritized our list of remaining tasks and then focused only on those until we met our deadline. Now, we didn't complicate things when the opportunity came up to do so, which there's always opportunities to complicate, because we were like, oh, we could
add background music.
We could put an email series together. We could, we had so many additional ideas, and some of them we're still going to do later.
Yeah, but a lot of them came after the fact, when it was kind of a little bit too late to revamp everything.
Right. So we didn't let ourselves get sidetracked, which is a principle I think you can apply, because whatever the project is you're doing, I guarantee you're going to come up with 10, 20 new ideas, things you can do to make it even better, but don't worry about that. So we didn't demand that perfection. We also didn't take on any additional projects or commitments until those tasks were finished, because Eric and I were having some conversations, Aaliyah and I were having some conversations, and we kept thinking, oh, maybe we could do this too, or maybe we could do this for something separate, different projects. But we didn't get sidetracked. We kind of kept that
Tried
focus.
our best not to.
Right. And then we also scheduled everything in advance as much as possible so that we could breathe. So like, for example, inside of a Facebook group, you can schedule a video to go live at a certain date and time. So we just uploaded all the videos, scheduled them for, I think it was like 6 a.m. Pacific time. They were all going to go up each day. Having all of that scheduled and done and prepared was so great. And Grace on Instagram can use Planoly to schedule Facebook pages you can schedule. So if anyone is doing social media for a project, oh my goodness, just being able to schedule was amazing. Because then after New Year's Day, when you'd completed all the video editing, we were kind of done. Now it was just engaging in the community and celebrating with them. Yeah. Which has been super fun.
Way fun.
And we've been emailing, letting more people know. But it was so fun, because I think our Facebook group had like 1,300 people in it when we first started. And then now it's up to 8,500 just at this recording, plus it's growing. Probably while we've been recording this, we have more people coming in, which is so fun. And I love seeing that energy. So really, I think just the main idea is that you want to set up this 2-day sprint or this 2-day project so that really when you're done, you have that sense of completion. Now you can breathe, you can reassess your projects. We're about to go into a meeting with Annie, who's our project manager here at LearnDoBecome, and we're going to put together our plan for the Arise program we're going to be building and for future podcasts. And we've got some fun activities going on here at LearnDoBecome. But now, because this project is done, we can go into this meeting not only having clarity and space to dream and think, but we also have confidence knowing, hey, we know how to work together to get a big project done quickly. So as we're planning, we know what our bandwidth is, and we've improved our skills, and we've learned a lot through experience. So I think that's been really fun. So anything else you want to add on the project itself, or any advice you would give to someone who's working on a big project?
Mm-hmm. The biggest takeaway I think that I had during this whole process was that not every project's going to be a 2-day project. This was kind of a not once in a lifetime thing, but kind of a
It was a sprint
once
with
in a blue moon.
yeah, especially
because
a big deadline.
this one we did have the time. Everything kind of fell into place for this to happen. But we both have projects going on right now that are going to take days, weeks, maybe even months if we're being honest with it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just making sure that you're not feeling overwhelmed, especially after hearing, well, they did a big project in 2 days. I should be able to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Because really this was a project that was kind of unique to one that I hadn't done before.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's just helping yourself realize that sometimes projects do take a long time, but you do have the tools and the capabilities and the support system behind you to make it happen in whatever time frame you have available to you.
Yeah, and if there ever is some kind of a deadline or this was a self-made deadline that we created because it was something we wanted to do that was fun. But sometimes you're going to have a deadline that hits you like, oh, I've got taxes that are due and you don't get to pick your deadline. Or maybe it's the first day of school and you've got to get your kids ready for that. Or maybe you are doing a big launch in a business and you are like, oh man, I've got to get all this stuff ready, or a store opening. Or everyone has, obviously a unique life and unique situations, but there are so many times where things are deadline driven. And sometimes they're happy projects and sometimes they're hard projects. Sometimes it's a surgery that someone needs to have and you've got to get the house ready so that you can be, recovering for a while. Or, there's a lot of times that our preparation and our work needs to happen in order to prevent stress or just make things run more smoothly in a family, and sometimes it is in a business. But I believe that the huge projects that are weighing on your mind right now, especially ones that are more of the creative nature and that are linked to your purpose, I believe that they're inspired by a higher power, however you might define that. And yes, there are some projects that are on your mind right now that maybe do need to go onto your someday list. Maybe now's not the right time for them. There's a lot of projects I want to do right now, and now's not the right time. Or you might need to improve your delegation skills and get some help because you don't have to be the one to do every project. And I think that was a big help having Aaliyah here and Grace here is I'm learning how to delegate more because I know how capable they are. And that's taken a huge weight off my mind where now I feel like, okay, I can step into some of the projects that, I uniquely need to do. And my daughters can do projects that they're uniquely, skilled to do. And we can all work together on that. But I just believe that when your mind and heart can't help but focus on something meaningful and purposeful, and yes, sometimes big, sometimes you might be feeling like, oh, there's something I really want to do. I think you need to pay attention to that because there's kind of a pain that you start to feel when you're not moving forward on things that would make a big impact either in your life or for the world. And by learning how to get projects done, and hopefully some of the principles we talked about today will be helpful for you, learning how to do that and learning how to just move forward and make it happen, I think it's just going to help give you such a lift, and it's going to open up so many more opportunities for you to be able to live your purpose. And it sounds so like I'm auditioning for Miss America, but making the world a better place. I honestly believe that. So I just wanted to share my love and encouragement for you. And also Aaliyah, thanks for being here today, for helping out. But we are just so grateful you're here at LearnDoBecome. And I've put together a little LearnDoBecome challenge. So I encourage you right now, as you're listening, maybe get out a sheet of paper or a fresh digital note and just write down one big project you've been putting off for a while. And I do recommend that you select a project that's really connected to your heart. I think that that's important for you to be able to move forward on something like that. And then review those principles that we've talked. I'm going to put them on the show notes page. That's learndobecome.com/episode 108. And then I want you to just brainstorm how you could apply some of the things we talked about, or maybe some new ideas that come to you that we didn't talk about, to help you to get things moving in an exciting direction. Do you want to share how they can participate in our 7-day challenge if they haven't yet?
Yes. So we have and we've talked about it multiple times in the podcast already, but we have a new free Facebook group. It's just called LearnDoBecome Community, and we'd love to have you join us there. And the link for that is LearnDoBecome.com/FB family. So we're all a happy little family united on Facebook. And of course, you're welcome to invite friends and family and anyone that you think would benefit. This is a great opportunity for you to say, this is something awesome I learned for the new year, and I want to share it with you too. And so we're super excited about it, and we hope you'll join us. And all 7 videos from this challenge are in that Facebook group.
Yay! Okay, so that'll be super fun. And then if you are loving Learn, Do, Become, you want to work with us on a deeper level to get your projects prioritized and your spaces calm and clear and your mind totally organized, our STEP program, Steps to Everyday Productivity, that's the place to be. We'll have a link on our show notes page, but we would love for you to come in. We have a booster series that's going live January 19th. And if you're listening to this podcast later, we always have awesome stuff happening. But this is the best time to join. So come on in. You're grandfathered into all future bonuses that we put into the STEP program. And so, or if you're just listening to this and you want to know, how do I learn more about STEP? If you go to LearnDoBecome.com/STEP, that gives you a link to our introductory training. And then our Rise membership is going to be coming soon. We're working on that today. I'm really excited about that.
That's our next project.
That's our next project. Very excited about it. So thanks for being here with us. Have an amazing day. And we're so glad to have you here at LearnDoBecome.com.